Welcome. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Monroe County Public Library. As usual, we'll start by introducing ourselves, and if you care to share what you're reading, please do. Jamie, you want to start us off, please?
And I took a picture so I would know the title. The World That We Knew by Alice Hoffman.
I am Kari Essery, and I can't even think what I'm reading. I know I'm reading something, but I can't remember the name of it.
I'm John Walsh. I'm reading The Victorian City, Everyday Life in Dickens, London by Judith Flanders.
I'm Marilyn Wood, and I'm reading a book called Monster Cars, Mustangs and Camaros.
I'm Chris Harrison, and I'm reading a book called The List, about a book where they've limited language to a list, and you can only speak list of 500 words, so it's kind of interesting.
So like science fiction?
It's kind of more of a dystopian.
I'm Fred Reisinger, and I'm reading a book called Rage by Bob Woodward.
I'm Kathy Loser, and I haven't picked it up yet, but my next book is The Promised Land. It's waiting for me at the book corner.
Back to you, David.
Oh, I'm David Ferguson. I just finished, I think I mentioned last time, Archie Goes Home by Robert Goldsboro, and he's picked up the Nero Wolfe detective series after the death of the original author, whose name I don't remember, but who turned out, I found out after I read 10 of his books, he's from Noblesville, but lived in New York almost all his life after that, I think.
Thank you, everyone. Our first item is the consent agenda, through which we approve minutes from our meetings, monthly financial report, monthly bills for payment, personnel report, and our board meeting calendar. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next, our director's monthly report. Anything you, in particular, you want to draw our attention to, Marilyn?
Just to remind everyone that we're open again, and that people are beginning to know that more and more each day. We had an average daily visit count of about 659 people when we opened in October, and more than 20,000 people in the month then actually came in. And then the people who checked out something, so we can actually analyze our data to the point of knowing individuals or unique people who check something out through the month. And so we know that over 6,000 unique people actually did check something out. So we're reaching a few people in the community and more each day, and people have been very happy. So I wanted to read to you some of the comments that we've received since we've been reopened. These were on paper. So glad you are open for us again. One place we definitely feel safe to visit. And I picked up some masks for a friend who is always begging for mine. First time of returning to the library after a few months. You librarians and all employees of MCPL are still the best. Call me old school if you want, but I still appreciate the little pencils and scrap paper by the catalog. Looking forward to my next borrowing day. Librarians are helpful and poised as ever. Thank you for the great service you provide. You MCPL librarians are absolutely the best. I thought I couldn't borrow a book, but the librarian found the large print edition. He also helped very much with a computer question I had. We citizens should not take your study, preparation, knowledge, and professionalism for granted. I think this is an awesome library with awesome books. Thank you all for your hard work.
That's great. You said we had 6,000 some unique people checking things out. Does that include like drive-up window?
Yes, it does.
And how's that compare to this time of year before the pandemic?
As compared to last year. We're averaging, I just did those numbers for last week, we're averaging about 31% last week as compared to last year here at Maine, and 38% at Ellisville.
Any questions or comments on the director's report? Thank you, Marilyn. Thanks for sharing those comments from our patrons. On old business, we have an update from Associate Director Greer Carson on Southwest Branch Planning.
Evening, everybody. So last month we went through a sort of summary on the work that the branch design team has done up to this point, and tonight we would like to share just a few quick updates from the past few weeks. We are currently awaiting the results of our minor subdivision and preliminary plat request, which was submitted to the county on November 10th, and we anticipate being on the agenda for a plat committee meeting in mid-December. Our plat subdivision is anticipated to be recorded in January of next year. In the meantime, Matthew Architects continues to work on schematic designs and interior and exterior plans, and our conversations about space use, layout, and function are now occurring almost daily, which is a very exciting place to be. Finally, the school corporation approved our request to extend the purchase agreement closing date at their meeting last night. The closing date is now February 28th, 2021 at the latest. So if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Could you repeat that closing date, the new one?
February 28th at the latest.
Any questions on the branch planning? Thank you, Greer.
Thank you.
Moving on to our action items, do we have a motion to approve the resolution declaring items surplus?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one for, I am curious what the passenger shelter is, I have to say.
Yeah.
So we are preparing our inventory list for an audit, which basically means that in October of this year, we went through and tried to identify everything on there and where it was. And these are two of the final items that we weren't really sure that they exist. Well, the passenger shelter. The express check, I think we did determine that that is no longer in the building. So that's the story.
Was the passenger shelter something?
You know, I don't,
We don't know.
I can't think of where that was, or when it would have been taken away, but
It sounds almost like it could have been a bus stop kind of thing or something, but I don't know where that would have been. Maybe the old building?
Seeing no further questions or discussion, all in favor of approving the resolution declaring items surplus, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Do we have a motion to approve the disaster recovery for computer systems plan?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed last week at our work session. Are there any, and it was shared with the board privately because of the sensitive nature of the disaster recovery plan. Are there any questions, comments, discussion before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the disaster recovery for computer systems plan, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. And do we have a motion to approve policy 2.04 on pre-employment and criminal history checks?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Kyle's coming up to the podium. Again, this is something we discussed last week at the work session. Are there any additional questions or discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the policy 2.04 on pre-employment and criminal history checks, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next, a big annual item. Do we have a motion to approve the 2021 employee insurance package?
So moved.
Motion and a second. Anything you want to say about this, Kyle? Or summary of what we discussed last week, the major changes?
I think the biggest change for this year is making a redistribution of library contributions in order to support our families and people with children. It's been a few years since we've looked at that, and it's time to make that adjustment.
Do we have any discussion on this? All in favor of approving the 2021 employee insurance package, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. And thank you for the annual work on that, Kyle, and for what we were able to do to support our families here at MCPL.
It's always a team effort. Thanks.
We don't have an update. We don't have our usual update this month, so it's time for public comment. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the board? If so, please come to the podium and state your name and share your thoughts with us.
Hello, good evening. My name is John McWigan, and I already emailed the board about my particular concern, which is the limit on allowable holds, which I've asked that it be expanded without success. And I feel like I've been asking for the sun and the moon and the stars when all I'm asking for is a little help. Now, let me speak personally. I'm 71 years old. I do have mobility issues. I have a handicap placard for my car, et cetera. And it would just make my life a little easier. I am a voracious reader. I spent 20 years in scholarly publishing, another 20 years in rare books. I am also very much a cinephile. My daughter is a college librarian. My oldest son is a cinematographer. It kind of, rubs off. In general, since I've entered this territory called old age, I've noticed that Bloomington doesn't do as good a job as other communities, I think, in servicing the elderly. This is a larger issue that you can't address, but you're part of it. For example, lots of municipalities, also in the state of Indiana, offer free public transportation for seniors, not Bloomington, half off. The parking is not reduced for handicapped. In fact, there are darn few parking spaces for handicapped downtown. And this is an issue I'm going to continue to harp at with City Council and the Mayor's office. But here in the library, I'm just, you folks, and I know I'm not alone. I know other people have asked that this limit be relaxed. It seems to me that for seniors and the handicapped, I can't be the only one asking for a little help here. It just means that I don't have to go into the library as often, which would help. And it would just, as I say, it would certainly make my life a little easier, and I think it would make the lives of other seniors a little easier. And it seems to me that it shouldn't be that hard to implement. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. McWigan. Are there any other members of the public who would like to address the board? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.